In 2019, dozens of travelers showed up to Airbnb listings that didn't exist. Some were double booked, and others turned out to be literal slums. And journalist Ali Conti uncovered a massive scam where fraudsters were leaving fake reviews to manipulate Airbnb's ranking algorithm and exploiting weak verification systems in order to rake in thousands of dollars. And here's the craziest part, Airbnb's tech actually helped them pull that off. Their search prioritized listings with positive reviews, even if those reviews were fake, and their availability systems failed to detect when these listings were double booked across multiple accounts. And Airbnb's customer service? Useless. Now, Airbnb is pretty simple. You browse listings, you book a place, you stay there, and you leave a review. But when you add 150 million users, 7 million listings, and billions of queries, it's not so simple anymore. As Airbnb scaled from a small startup to a global platform, they had to completely rebuild their tech stack. And today, I'm breaking exactly how they did that and how they stopped the scammers. So, what was actually breaking? First, the search was painfully slow. Finding the perfect beach house shouldn't take 10 seconds of loading, but it did. Second, the updates weren't real time. Imagine booking a place that someone else somewhere else had already booked. And that's exactly what was happening. And scammers exploited this. They could double book the same properties across multiple accounts before the system even realized. And third, their recommendation system was garbage. Generic results meant users had to keep scrolling through dozens and dozens of irrelevant listings, and that also meant there was a bunch of fake listings at the top of the page which were getting promoted due to these fake reviews. And if there's one thing you can't mess up as Airbnb, it's search and availability, because that's the literal core of your business. For search, they ditched MySQL for Elasticsearch. MySQL was fine for simple queries, but it couldn't handle the complexity Airbnb needed. Elasticsearch was built for full text search filtering by price, amenities, location, weather, more. All of that lightning fast. But storing data was only half of the problem. How do you rank the results? And more importantly, how do you stop fake listings from gaming the system? This is where Nebula comes in. Now, Nebula is Airbnb's internally developed search ranking framework that combines machine learning and real-time data analysis. Under the hood, Nebula uses gradient-boosted decision trees and deep neural networks. These models consider over 100 different factors when ranking search results. Here's the key. It doesn't just look if a listing is 4 stars or 5 stars. It learns patterns of how you book. For example, if you always book places with pools, even if you don't filter with pools, Nebula will prioritize listing with pools in your results. It's learning what you actually want, not just what you say you want. Here's how this fights scams. Fake listings might have, the most reviews, the most 5-star reviews, but they won't have the same booking patterns, the same engagement metrics, or the same user behavior signals that real listings actually have. The algorithm notices that and it can spot the difference. Okay, search is solved, but what about double bookings? Remember, scammers were exploiting the lag between availability updates. They could list the same fake property multiple times and accept bookings before the system caught up. Airbnb's solution used Apache Kafka to handle real-time updates. At its peak, it was running 35 billion events per day. When someone books a place, Kafka sends messages to multiple services in parallel, updating Elasticsearch, the recommendation system, and sending notification to hosts, all in parallel, all in milliseconds. No lag, no time window for the scammers to exploit. The second a booking happens, the date is marked, unavailable everywhere. Airbnb also created Apache Airflow, the tool they use to orchestrate all of this data pipeline. But here's a problem most people don't think about. How do you store billions of data points? A single database can't handle that. So Airbnb uses database sharding, splitting data across multiple servers based on geographical regions. Listings in Asia go on different servers than listings in Europe or North America. This keeps data frequently close to where it's generally accessed, which makes everything faster. They use both horizontal sharding, which is splitting similar data across data servers, and vertical sharding, which is separating different types of data. And each shard has backup replicas. If one goes down, the system automatically switches to a backup with zero disruption. But here's where things get even more interesting. Remember how I told you that Nebula learns your preferences, that you always book pools so it shows you pools? That requires even more storage, and 150 million users mean 150 million custom profiles that need to update in real time as you browse. The old system just could not handle that. So they built Muscle. Muscle can instantly pull up all your personal preferences, your booking history, what similar user liked, all while millions of other people are doing the exact same thing at the exact same time. And that's what makes Airbnb so powerful at its core. Here's something you probably never thought about when browsing Airbnb. Images. Each listing has over 20 high quality photos, 7 million listing. That's 140 million images that need to be stored, processed, and rendered in a fraction of a second, whether you're in Tokyo or Toronto. To solve this, Airbnb stores everything in S3 buckets from AWS, having custom processing pipelines which use Lambda functions. When hosts upload photos, the system automatically generates multiple versions. There's thumbnails for the search results, medium size for when you're browsing the listing, and then the full screen version as well. They use the WebP format for modern browsers and falling back to optimized JPEG for older ones. This alone cut the image payload by about 30%, and they distribute everything through a global CDN network. Instant loading anywhere in the world. Last piece, dynamic pricing. How does Airbnb know what price to suggest? For this, they built something called Aerosolve, an open source machine learning framework. Aerosolve uses linear models, random forests, and boosted decision trees. But the real magic happens in the feature engineering. It analyzes location, seasonality, local events, even day of the week. Is there a Super Bowl in your city? Prices automatically update upward. Middle of the season, prices drop. Here's why this matters for fighting scams particularly. Fake listings with an unrealistic pricing stick out. If a luxury apartment in Manhattan is listed at $50 a night, Aristotle pricing model flags that as suspicious because real market data doesn't support that should be the listed price. This keeps both hosts and guests happy. Hosts maximize revenue, and guests get fair prices based on actual demand, and scammers can't undercut the market to lure in victims. And the best part, Airbnb actually open source Aerosol, so anyone can use it on GitHub. So remember those scammers from 2019? Here's how Airbnb's rebuilt tech stack fight back. Search doesn't look for fake 5-star review listings anymore. Nebula's machine learning models analyze over 100 factors like booking patterns, user behavior, engagement metrics, and these fake listings can't replicate real user signals. Availability updates happen in milliseconds through Kafka. No more double booking windows for scammers to exploit. And personalization through Muscle, the system actually knows what the user wants. Fake listing optimized for keywords don't match real behavior. And dynamic pricing through Aerosol flags unrealistic prices that scammers can use to target victims. What started as a simple website to rent air mattresses now runs one of the most sophisticated tech stacks in the world, not just to scale, but also to protect users. And Airbnb didn't build them for themselves. They gave back to the developer community. So the next time you're looking for that perfect beach house, remember there's a massive, intricate machine working behind the scenes, learning your preferences, updating in real time, and keeping the scammers out.